Okay, I want to say hi again everybody and welcome back to the channel. I've just taken a shower, so I look a bit funny. Anyway, I'm actually a normal human being and I have a lot of respect for all humanity and all people. I respect all adults anywhere in the world, no matter who you are, of any race, of any sex, any gender, any beliefs you may have are your own, and I believe you truly are entitled to your own beliefs. Entitled is the wrong word to even use, because who the heck is in place to be giving entitlement or taking away it from someone? You just naturally are what you are and who you are. That's true, right? There are certain things that I don't have as a belief, like, just me personally, I'm not religious, neither am I a member of the LGBT. I don't support homosexuality, so because I am heterosexual. Now, there are some heterosexuals out there that do support groups like that and stuff like that, and they go on marches and all kinds of things. But I'm just saying, okay, me personally, of course there are things that I personally agree with and disagree with. But one thing I don't, disagree with, and I don't have the right to be mouthing such a thing, is like, is people's rights to being free in who they are. Okay, so I always believe if you go against nature, if you go against your nature, which is in tune with the whole reality of all nature, then you are going to fail. You're going to feel the pain of that. It's going to destroy you and break you down. That's what I do believe, and I believe in nature. So I'm not trying to be offensive or anything, but I believe it should be one man and one woman. That's my personal belief, right? But whoever you are, you're entitled to peace. You don't deserve to have people educating you and ramming it in your face. And even if they say it's not ramming it in your face, you still do not deserve anyone, okay? You don't deserve people educating you, so to speak, on things, telling you that you have to be educated on every single matter because they know more, that you have to listen. So, me personally, my beliefs, I'm as I say, heterosexual. I don't believe in homosexuality. I don't support that at all, okay? Anything like that, transgender, anything like LGBT, I don't support it. And I have to express a point here. I'm not talking about that as a topic either, because I do respect all people for however they live and however you think, okay, and be. But what I'm saying is it's like some people like basketball, some people like football, some people hate golf with a passion, some people love cooking with a passion. What I'm talking about is not hating people. It's about just saying what is not for me and what is for me, okay? So I'm not religious. What does it mean? Does this mean I'm hateful towards a god or people that believe in a certain thing? No way. These are all beliefs. These are all individual beliefs. There's people that have different lifestyles out there. It doesn't matter what I think or what my opinions are, because you are you. But whatever is destructive for nature, it goes against nature and is destructive towards the human being and yourself. It is what it is. You try. I'm not advising it, but you try drinking loads of alcohol. Watch what happens. You can't walk straight down the road. You try picking up something that's really hot. You'll burn your hand. Your skin tells you. You try taking some weird kind of drugs. Watch what it does to your breathing, your mind, your brain. The drugs mess people up. You try you know what I mean? It's like all kinds of just crazy stunts that people pull, and they end up falling off of buildings, trying to take selfies and stuff. Reality is reality. By the way, this is a bath towel. It's not a Sub-Zero outfit. If I had a mask across me here, you'd think I was Sub-Zero from the Mortal Kombat series. Just kidding. But also, it's not a blue hoodie with just a hood. It's not a blue cape like a Superman's outfit the wrong way. Now, going back to what I'm saying, okay, let me just get back to the point. Something has been brought to my attention, and I want to say this. This is a point here, okay? All people are entitled to their own opinion. And you're entitled to, obviously, you will hate certain things and like other things. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you may fall in love with someone, you may not love somebody else. You may have a passion for something else that someone else may not have. You know, but everybody's going to be different. It doesn't mean that you hate people. And even if you did hate people or hate their ideas and hate things, you know, that would be wrong to hate people. But it would be like, as long as you're not being threatening to people, trying to harm people, you need to understand. And if you have some anger or negative feelings towards someone, you need to understand what that is, what those feelings are, why. Because you should never want to control people and ram your ideas in their faces, I believe. Now, what I want to talk to you about just briefly here, I want to say something to you guys. Something's been brought to my attention. There was a video online on YouTube. I saw a video of a young schoolgirl who was very upset because she was very upset and she spoke out. And she was having classes in school, and she's a girl from the UK, where I grew up in the UK, right, South London. I think she come from South London too. And she basically is growing up, this young girl. I don't know if it's primary school or secondary school or what. I didn't even pay attention, but it doesn't really matter. My point is, this young person was very, very upset, and because she was not enjoying a certain class or a certain course that a teacher is giving. Now, there's a teacher in her school, or some teachers or a teacher that has been teaching this lessons about LGBT rights, you know, and all that, homosexuality and all that stuff, LGBT rights. And she's not enjoying it. She feels it's being rammed in her face, and it's not something that needs to be taught, and she doesn't want to have these lessons. And she said that a lot of people in her class, a lot of classmates, honestly, just don't enjoy it. And whenever they just stand up and say that they don't like it or whatever, you know, or even the parents, even when the parents have certain beliefs, whether they be of religious backgrounds, so they don't agree with that, or whether it's they just personally, the parents don't agree with that either, and they don't want schools to be teaching certain things to their kids, whatever it is, whether the children were unhappy, that's the most important thing, or whether the parents, the family weren't, the whole thing, I think it's so bad and so terrible. Why a young girl like this, and children all across the country and all across the world, are being forced to have these classes or any classes like that, which are courses based on a topic that's making them unhappy and being threatened, you know, in different ways. Like the parents get threatened, or they won't be able to stay at the school, or it's gonna affect their education, it's gonna affect their future. You know what it's like all over the world now with all these crazy things going on with different beliefs. You've got Christians being locked up for just preaching the word. You've got, I'm not religious myself, I'm just saying. You've got, someone goes against, someone disagrees with LGBT stuff. You may be in big trouble, you may lose your job. There's different laws that are coming out for different things. You can't say this, can't say that. It's kind of crazy. People getting put in prison for just filming stuff on their phone. It's a crazy, dangerous world we're living in. And it's not about LGBT or religion or sports or whatever. It's not about the topic. It's about the powers that be and the manipulation of the minds of people and the manipulation of the youngsters too, the young kids too. And they're trying to control everybody like what do you call that? A prison state, a prison work. Like they're controlling people, forcing people, enslaving people to think the way they do, speak the way they do. This is wrong. I don't care who you are, of what religious background or what ethnic background or what, even if you are from the LGBT or whatever you're from, you cannot agree with them people using any topic, be it a topic you're for or against, but using a topic and promoting it as in some just way when they don't really have just intentions. They're just it's not really about educating people, opening their mind and stuff like this. It's about forcing things upon people. And I agree with the mother and parents like this who, I'm not saying that there should be ignorant parents who force their beliefs on their kids. No, I'm just saying, right, I believe the adults, right, I believe the parents for saying what they said, like saying like these kind of some subjects and topics they don't want to be taught to their kids because they don't believe it's necessary, and they just don't want it either. So I feel sorry for those parents who have their own kids who are again having stuff forced upon them against their will too and against the kids' will. And let's face it, right, what is that about? You may talk about rights, the rights of people all over the world, and why can't that be taught in schools? Yeah, fair enough, you can teach anything about racism, religion, and there's always been that. I mean, when I was in school, we used to have RE, religious education classes. When I grew up in primary school, we actually were singing Christian hymns and stuff from Christian books, but I'm not Christian. I'm just saying, and neither was my family, but I'm just saying, okay, like, as such, for the most part, but what I'm trying to say in that is, you know, we learned about different religions a little bit, we learned about history, we learned about different cultures, a little bit about racism and stuff, right? Fair enough, I understand all of that, and these are different topics that are things that are going around in society. Technology, yeah, fair enough. And then this other stuff, like different ideas about, you know, gender identity, all this stuff, LGBT, sex, education, sex, LGBT. I understand that certain things are there, but what I'm saying is I don't believe everything should be taught, you know. History is important. And then like there's things like racism and stuff. I understand that, and the rights and what people have done and in society, which we do live in civilization, and certain you know, the successes and the failures of whatever individuals and groups in society, the wars, all types of things that have gone on, and current events, so we can understand how to move forward and how we can work with things in the best way. But if you shut down, you know, the opposition always, if you shut down and you force kids who are the future of the generation to just go along with it and never open their minds, that's wrong. And if you force people to just shut up and follow with an iron fist, it's like anything. It's like people moaning about different things all over the world. You've got protests all over the world now, you may have seen it, where certain places want freedom, but they're getting forced to follow these regulations or follow this and that, and just, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you've got to respect people, but the thing is, there's the old saying where if you try to make everybody happy, you can't make anyone happy. I've heard that said as well. But my point of view is this, what I want to say, my thing I want to say here, okay, is making this video fairly short here, is, you know, there are religious people out there, people that have religious backgrounds or different cultural or religious beliefs, coming from a different background, and they can oppose the teachings. Let's say, for example, someone who is a Muslim or another religion, like a Muslim or Hindu or whatever religion, right? And that person, I believe, you know, sometimes they have the right to reject or to, you know, not go to classes based on Christianity or not having Christian beliefs shoved in their face. They are, you know, they don't have to have Christmas shoved in their face. They don't have to have, I like Christmas, but I'm just saying they don't have, these Muslim people or other people, they don't have to have a certain thing shoved in their face, or like those beliefs, you know, and Christian songs and hymns and being taken to the church. And, yeah, they don't have to have that thrown in their face. They can actually stand up and say, no, I don't want this. But as soon as someone says they don't want something else in their face, for example, LGBT stuff and homosexual stuff, that's chucked in their face. To me, that's very, very wrong. That's abuse. That's child abuse. And listen, okay, let me tell you something. We talk about the rights and things like this, about how people have fought for rights and how people have this and that. Why don't we just teach people how to treat each other fairly? We should be teaching morality and how to treat people fairly, and respecting other people's choices and stuff sometimes. You know, there's got to be mandatory classes, fair enough, like maths and language and science or whatever, with certain things, you know. PE, whatever, certain classes they're going to have for kids, maths and language, English, science, whatever it is. But it's like when it comes to certain beliefs, or like, you know, things like that, about people that want to just have different beliefs, like people that have different religions, and that is their whole thing in their heart. That is what they live by, their religion. You've got whole cultures and stuff that are like really on a percentage scale, you know, really their religion is everything. Well, you've got other people that are all about that. That is, to them, they believe what they are. You get transgender people, you get homosexual people, you get all this, and to them, it's what they believe. Okay, so I'm saying it, right. That's but they believe in what they believe. So how about people that don't believe in certain things? If you have a different sexual orientation, or like me, I'm a heterosexual, and I'm not of any religious background, I'm not into that. You know, I don't support certain people's ideas, and yet, you know, I should be forced into that. You know, it's like the same as kids should be forced to go to classes about certain people's beliefs. We're talking about adults as well, you know, who are running the country, mature adults and things like that. So if certain people can shut down and, you know, and stand up and be given leeway, you know, and be given that respect where they don't have to have certain classes and things shoved in their face, then why is it other ones do have to have things shoved in their face? Doesn't make any sense at all. At all. And, you know, someone's, let's face it, okay, someone's sexual preference, how the hell should that be taught to kids? You can, you know, teach about reproduction and the sexual basics of it, like sex education. But what about this other stuff? I mean, what are you talking about, all this stuff, you know? You know? Yeah, fair enough. I understand that there's racism, there's been wars, there's been all kinds of things, discrimination against all kinds of people, even gays and stuff in the past. We're going to talk about this, and yeah, I understand history, but it's like, why not talk about productive stuff, teaching people to do better and do right? And just, you know, if you don't follow nature, as I've said, you fail. End of the day. It's about doing what's right. As in, when I say right, about reality, like I keep talking to you about reality and nature. So regardless of whatever you do, you want to dress up like a woman or a man, or have a sex change and chop certain parts of your body up, you're still going to be the same skeleton underneath your body, still the same. Whatever you're made up as, whether you're born with two heads, 4 bits of genitalia, whatever it is, however you're born, you know, hairy face. There was this one guy who was born with his hair all over him. He looked like a beast. No offence, I'm just saying, right? To some people, he may look like a beast, right? Some people just give off this nasty smell, and you can smell it in the elevator. But I'm just saying, okay, at the end of the day, right, we are what we are. So I believe it's not about just allowing people to be what they be and you know, you're entitled to this because someone said, no, we literally are what we are. And that's it. It doesn't matter if you accept it or don't. We are what we are. We need to respect people and not be violent towards each other, be hateful and mean towards one another. We need to be understanding and, you know, and understand ourselves. That's the main thing. But I believe there's an abuse of children going on. The schools and stuff and the laws that are put in place and they allow this, it's affecting kids. There's enough pressure for a lot of kids. You don't have to bully kids in that way. I believe there's a lot of terrible things going on right now. So that's what I'm trying to say. If kids, you know, if people are saying that they understand and they acknowledge that certain kids from certain religious backgrounds, and they agree that they will not ram other kinds of religion in those people's faces or other beliefs, then why is it that you want to ram LGBT, homosexual stuff, transgender stuff in the face of all kids and try to I know you may not think you're being nasty, you think you're being positive, opening their minds, but you're just ramming that in their faces. That wasn't taught for years. And we've had a society still. Society shouldn't really be based on, right? I'm sure a lot of these people would agree too, right? I mean, it's not really based on, it's based on accepting everybody, yes, but it's not based on focusing on that and that, saying, who you are. Oh, that person says he's a man or a woman or whatever, and dress up, and what they do behind closed doors. What's that? If you're a male like me, if you're a male and you're attracted to females, or if you're a female who's attracted to males, or the other way, if you're homosexual or whatever, you know it in yourself. You find the right person. It's the same as you find a match. You find a partner in your life and you decide to be with that person, or whatever it is, have sexual relations or have loving relationships, friendship, marriage, whatever it is. You decide to move in with that person, to do things with that person. It's between you two. Why not teach about relationships and stuff, explain the basics of nature and science and the natural way of reproduction and stuff, fair enough. Teach that stuff to kids in school. But you don't have to teach them about every choice they've got to pick here, left and right, and what's political correctness, or incorrect, like what you've got to choose here to please people. Because you wouldn't like to have, like, let's say, if you're a homosexual person, you wouldn't like to have heterosexual stuff rammed in your face, would you? And you probably turn around and say, well, we do. We have it on a daily basis. You know what I mean, right? We have it all the time. No, you don't. You're not being they shouldn't force things into people's faces and this is what it must be. But I'm saying, because you see a lot of people are heterosexual and you get upset. No, you're wrong. Okay, it's not like a discrimination. You can't keep comparing this to racism and stuff, right? And I know I'm a fucking white guy. Excuse my language. I'm not being funny. I've heard it said before. Okay, there was a black guy who rightly said, there was a very smart black guy. I don't know his name, but he once said on a video, he was talking about something. I've heard a couple of people say this. He was talking about, it doesn't matter what colour his skin was either, but he was talking about crime, like in certain parts of the world where you get a lot of crime and gang crime. And he was saying about murders and things, and he was saying, there's so much, he said like how he was bringing up the point how a lot of white people or people in general are pointing the finger, saying that a lot of black crime is going on black crime, or black a lot of shootings and stuff, and it's black crime. But the true point was, it was a high crime rate, but that in that place there were more black people living there. So of course the crime rate's going to be higher, because most of the people, just based on the percentage of the colour of the people's skin, were black. It doesn't mean that the black people were more, to be criminals and that. No, he was just saying that. And I'm just saying what I heard that guy saying on there. And I do think there's a point there to be seen. You see, you know what I mean? You see a lot of people in one town who are Chelsea football team supporters, and there's only a few Arsenal supporters. Well, what do you think it is? You know what I mean? It's not because this or that. It's just that, you people are supporting Chelsea. No, it's because that's what it is, Or there's more boys or girls in the class at school. It's just what it is, what it is. It's not, it doesn't mean anything. You just make up other stuff, no. So you wouldn't want to have ideas forced in your face, or you have to get kicked out of school, right? Religion is a very good example I can give, because it's something a lot of people care about. And if they can turn around and say they don't want to have that rammed in their face like other religions and stuff, then why should they? The same as people that are non-religious, like myself, but why should they have that rammed in their face? But this is not the same as picking and choosing or just saying other subjects like science or maths. No, that's different. That's learning about things around us, I can't explain that simply, but you know what I mean? It's like practical. The human emotion and how you connect with, like, what you love, what kind of people you like, the same as anything, what kind of food you like, even, what kind of, what your preference about things. That's your own preference. And something to do with, like, being attracted to people. Like, when kids grow older, when they become adults, and they find a partner and they get sexually attracted to whoever it is, that's their own business. They will know that themselves. Yeah, we should all, parents and teachers, we should all try to share some moral values and explain how, it's better to treat people fairly and all of that in society, and then your loved ones and family, and then the school will also teach like sex education and stuff like that, and explain a few basic things. But in terms of having, this group's rights, teaching all the different rights, it seems there's a lot of wrong in society. How come we have to keep getting that second? Why can't it be first off we teach morality to people and about respecting all individuals and the self? If you did that, and if you had that, and if parents were just naturally more caring too, and if the world wasn't so messed up, adding so many crappy laws and stuff where the parents can't even teach their own kids now, and other crap's forced on their kids in schools and stuff. Damn, I don't know what's going on with that, and I don't know how this video can't even go viral. I mean, who the hell is saying what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. But it's quite a frightening world, okay? And if you can't have that level of quality and honesty, then how the hell do you expect to have a very decent world? They're pitting humans against humans right from the very start. We're talking about open-mindedness. They're not. They're blind. Whether the teachers are doing it this way or whether it's because they're blind themselves. But it's like they're dividing people for as long as we talk about, the battles of humans and, and our rights and what else we have to fight for and this and that. No, why are we fighting each other? What's the reason for that? We're all human beings. We should respect and understand each other and help each other the best we can. We only need to understand our own qualities and that every person has their own qualities too. I'm so happy I've been able to share this topic with you, looking like Sub-Zero in an outfit for Mortal Kombat. I won't try to be cold or blunt. I've got my beliefs. Respect to you, whatever your beliefs are, anyone, okay? So that's it. Live and let live is what I say. But you don't force things like that in front, talking about someone's gender or someone's preferences, relationship preferences and stuff like that, or someone's personal beliefs and that. You may say, well, the very point is because it's talking about discrimination and how we should learn to accept people and that. No, you don't say things like this. You talk about respecting people on the whole. You've got to respect people on the whole. But someone can, in my opinion, turn around and say, I don't agree with that. That's fine. It's not an assault for someone to not agree with you or for someone to not like what you like. You just say, I don't like that. Okay, fair enough. Not, I don't like that, I want to attack you. That's wrong, okay? So you can't even say what you don't like anymore or what you disagree with and why. And be fair and understand that other people do agree with certain things and like something. That's up to them. You are you. You're trying to take the mind out of the individual. People try to take the person away, the individual. Try to take your life away. You take the mind out of the body. It's like you're leaving kids like shells just to grow up into becoming slaves and robots of the society. Even more dumbed down, even more easier to manipulate next robotic generation. And they're just addicted to all this stuff. Technology is good, but they're addicted to it. They don't understand how to be a true free human in their mind. So how can they be true and healthy in their true being in their real life, in the real world? They're only going to be good for being robots. For fear that you can't say this, can't think that, can't do that. You've got to be the same, or you're going to go to prison, or you can't live, or you can't get a job, or you're going to be ridiculed by the army of brain-dead robots that they call adults. And then all they do is they start smoking some weed or something. You've got people committing suicide. No understanding of respect for family, for elders, for even no respect for differences, because they don't respect differences. They're being taught that one person who is of a different mind is actually wrong. So how can you say that and still teach diversity and respect people? You know what? Because you shut that person down if they disagree with the crowd. Why? That's wrong. That's wrong. That just is blatant abuse, It really is. So that's what you get, a lot of violence in society. Pressure builds violence, but you're trying to weaken people down. But there's weak and then there's weak, but you've got people that become violent, they become murderers, they become suicidal, they become gangbangers, drug dealers. You're out of touch with humanity and the family and love and relationships and the natural order of things, and then creating kids and a family, and there's no order to anything, because as soon as you put order there, people say, oh no, that's wrong, that's control. But then again, in other parts of the world, you've got protests and stuff going on now, police drawing guns, army deployed, protests all over the place. This group wants to control that group, wants this, that and the other. And then there's fightings in prisons and stuff going on as well. The whole world is just people who's crazy, like crazed wolves at each other. I say we need to get in touch with nature and reality. This may be one of the most important videos I've mentioned, I've brought out, and I'm happy I can talk to you guys, all of you. And remember, I wanted to say this point here, okay? My goal is not to, put anybody down for their beliefs, no matter what you are, whether you are LGBT or whether you're religious or any race or whatever, or even if you take drugs and do things that I don't agree with and drink too much, smoke, whatever, whether you believe it's right to have a gun or not, whatever your beliefs are, whether you want to dress up like another gender or be pan, this or that, trans, vesta, whatever it is, I don't know, that's what you want to do. Get tattoos, get sex changes, get robotic chips put in your brain. I don't even know what you're up to, right? That's your life. Everyone's entitled to their own lives. I'm not being insulting, I've got my own life. I've got things I disagree with. I disagree with LGBT stuff, I don't like it. Crime, drugs, anything, rape, child abuse, cannibalism, drug dealing, gang banging, gun violence, knife violence, discrimination, bullying. I was a victim of bullying when I was in school, so I'm against bullying. Cruelty to anyone, person, animals on the planet, nature, war. I hate all that, okay? I don't agree with these things. I'm not saying I'm going to put them all in the same basket and say they're exactly the same. I'm just saying, right? They're a bit different, but all of that stuff, these are things I don't like. The same way as I'm not into sports and things. But I do like computer games. But then other people might think computer games are bad for people. Because, some people like to play the guitar, some people like to paint. Doesn't matter, right? I've got things I like and things I don't like. We're all different. We've got to respect each other the same way as I respect all people, as I do. Thank you for watching this video. Let's be mature, okay? If we can be mature as being the adults, be a bit more lenient on each other and more lenient on the kids, and just give them a good old, I won't say old-fashioned, but a good old quality education, and give all kids a chance for a better future, and let parents once again take control, take back the rights to raise their kids with some kind of parental ability, because I feel nowadays that's being taken away from people too. And sad thing to say, because I would love to have kids, but in some ways I'm very happy that I'm not a parent. I'd like to be a parent in some ways, but I don't know, I probably might be at some stage, but I'm just saying it's a scary world out there when you're not allowed to raise your kid your own way. I wouldn't brainwash them, but it's like you're not allowed to raise them in a certain way, and they're left in danger. They're left left with the wolves, basically, with the society that's allowed to just indoctrinate them, push and pull them, and basically abuse and torture them. That's what I see it as. It's a murdering, it's a genocide of people, and generation after generation. As it was said by someone, before, they used people like we're sheets of toilet paper, generation after generation, like sheets of toilet paper. That's not what it's about. Humanity. We're humans. To get real, we need to get. It's not about protesting with anger. It's not about parading with just a big smile on your face, stripping naked and making a flag design up and painting it on your body, private parts, and running down the road, or having the annual pillow fight, and the next day you're tearing each other's hair out at work over who's getting paid more money than you, and going drinking every night, and then just living day in, day out, just looking at your phone. That's not reality. There's a real life at stake in reality, humanity. Talk to you again soon. Be peaceful and be positive.